What if someone's life was changed just as a result of you showing up? How would that impact your consistency? How would it change the way that you made things happen for yourself, for your business, for the people that you're called to serve? It's a question that I really want you to consider. So my name is Tish Times. I own Tish Times Sales Agency. And I think that this timing of this particular video is so perfect. We're at the beginning of the year, and I made myself a promise this year. I said that I'm going to do a video. I have lots of content, the Sold Out Sales podcast that gets posted every single week. So we have consistency with content, but I haven't been showing up like this in a long time. And the podcast episode that is airing, it's season 3, I think episode 2, that is posting this week is about the importance of visibility. So I was like, this is the perfect time to have this short conversation with you, with me too, right? So I'm having the conversation with you as well as with me. And if you see the episode, I encourage you to take a look at it. Tanya Smith talks about how visibility literally changes businesses and how she teaches people to show up perfectly imperfect. So even today, I knew I needed to do this video. To be honest with you, I wanted to do it earlier in the week, and I legitimately just didn't feel well. I had a terrible headache and gave myself permission to kind of push it off, but it's Friday. And I was like, I still need to do this video. And even in this moment, it was kind of like, oh, push the button, let's go. I'm much more comfortable in an audience, talking to people, sitting here, talking to you, but through the screen is a lot more uncomfortable for me. And I know it's that way for lots of other people. Matter of fact, I have high performing, high earning, phenomenal business leaders, business owners that I work with as clients. And this is something that many of them struggle with. And so I just want to say to you that showing up is not necessarily about you. I always have to think about who's the person on the other side who's going to be blessed, who's going to have the benefit of me having said something. Something happened at church this past week that kind of just drove this home for me. There was a young man, really young guy, who had not been around. We hadn't seen him in a while. I'd reached out to him. I know some of the other people had reached out to him, but we just hadn't seen him. And he came in on Sunday, and one of our other members has been really consistently, so shout out to Hector Mayorga, good for you, who had been doing some content on a consistent basis. And the other young man said, hey, your content, those videos that you've been posting really kept me going. And that's what brought me back. And so we may often think nobody's watching, it doesn't matter, I don't need to do this, right? It doesn't really make an impact. Well, check this out. What if your showing up can change someone's life? What if someone walked up to you and say, because of what you said, I decided not to harm myself. Because of what you said, I implemented this in my business and now I made my first 6-figure month. Because of what you said, my relationship with my spouse has been completely changed. These are things I've heard people say these things to me, and it's still sometimes hard to show up. And I just have made a decision that this year I am going to show up on a weekly basis consistently. I've done it before. I will do it again. And I believe that God has something for you through my lips. And so for that reason, I'm going to show up. And so I encourage you to really have a conversation with yourself. What's the purpose for you showing up, right? If you understand the purpose, it makes it that much easier for you to create the content, to make the video, to get on the stage, whatever it is that you're struggling with. And then what's the reason why you're hesitant? For many of us, it's just a fear that you have not yet dealt with. And so we might think, we'll say things like, I'm not good on stage. I'm not good in front of people. I don't know what to say. I'm not ready. I don't have my makeup on. I don't have a studio. I don't have the lighting. All the things that become excuses. And let me just say it this way, lies dressed like excuses, because they're lies we tell ourselves. They're stories we're telling ourselves that prevent us from being where we ought to be, saying what we ought to say, and making the impact we ought to be making. So stop. I'm going to stop right along with you. Stop allowing excuses or lies dressed like excuses to stop you from reaching the people who really need to hear what you have to say, because trust me, you have a word. You have something to say. Somebody needs to hear your voice. And if you don't show up, they can't be changed. So let's go on this journey together. I will be back here next week. And please check out the Sold Out Sales podcast, because that releases every Thursday afternoon. But then right behind it, I'll be talking to you. And I'd love to also hear, what are some of the things that you're really interested in hearing? So my business is a sales advisory. So I really work with high-performing female business leaders who, number one, are approaching their first six figures and really need systems and strategy and automation and new and creative ways to find, reach, and convert their ideal clients. And then I also work with a group of high-performing business leaders who are a little bit further in their business. They're really trying to step away from the sales, from them doing the sales completely, totally by themselves. They're really wanting to empower their team to be more effective in adding dollars to the bottom line. They're really needing to put some processes in place so that sales happen even if they're not a part of that daily conversation. And if you were in one of those two buckets, or you're really even at a higher level and really just want to put some very clear strategy in place around your sales and increasing your revenue, I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the things you want to talk about? The other thing that I'm going to be doing periodically is doing some live hot seats. So if you're like, oh, wow, I would love to work with her, but I'd love to maybe hear how she can help my business, that might be an opportunity for you to apply for one of our live, I'll call them a business transformation conversations that can take place right here live on YouTube and all the platforms that we're going to be posting. So I want to hear from you. What are some of the things that you're really wanting to talk about as it pertains to your sales processes, your mindset around sales, your sales confidence, finding, converting ideal clients, all of those things? That's what I'm here for. And also, where is the spiritual aspect as it pertains to sales? Because believe it or not, that's a huge component that many people don't even take into consideration. So I'm here for it all. I will see you next week. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'm Tish Times. I'll talk to you later.